Welcome to today's regional ceremony to honor the Chinese American veterans of World War II. On behalf of Chinese American Citizens Alliance, the host of today's Congressional Gold Medal ceremony, it's a pleasure and honor to be with you, our veterans and family and friends of our veterans. I'm Ed Gore, past National President of Chinese American Citizens Alliance, or CACA, and National Director of the Chinese American World War II Veterans Recognition Project. But today is your special day, where we come to present to you the nation's highest civilian award, the Congressional Gold Medal. While this is a day to celebrate the award you're about to receive, it's also a day of solemn remembrance for the more than 90% of your sisters and brothers who have already passed, who are also medal honorees. You know and I know they would have loved to have received it with you and their families. Well, to truly appreciate who and why we're here today, I feel it's important for each of us who are descendants of a Chinese American World War II veteran to know how this effort came about. So let me just take a couple of minutes here to speak about that and how this project began, how challenging it was to get this bill through Congress and eventually signed into law by President Trump in 2018. During the time I assumed the national presidency and the responsibilities thereof, I thought we needed to do something to have more membership benefits. I also remember when I was just younger and I had something called HAIR. It was many of the older members who served in the World War II, who provide examples and stories of their loyal CACA involvement in this community. So encouraged by the efforts of those who led the Nisei and Filipino Congressional Gold Medal efforts, we initiated it with the leadership and members of CACA in 2017 with the introduction of Senate Bill S-1050 and House Bill HR 2358. We were faced with severe challenges of reaching 2/3 of the 435 House representatives and 2/3 of the 100 senators to co-sponsor the bill. Well, you know, after year one, we were about halfway through and getting 67 senators needed, but less than 20% of the 290 House members needed. Well, in year two, we received a significant infusion of help from two key members of our retired military, Major General Bill Chen and Major General Robert Lee. They and a determined group of blitzed into both houses of Congress to reach the 69 senators and 303 House members to pass the bill. Both houses passed with unanimous consent, and Public Law 115-337 was signed into law by President Trump in 2018. All of this happened miraculously in one session of Congress. That is rarely ever done. I heartily thank both General Chen and General Lee for their contributions to the effort and holding CACA to the fire to finish this mission. So one of the primary reasons we have retired military members presenting to you is because they, as Chinese Americans, represent the highest ranking individuals for which many of you, as veterans, laid the groundwork for their opportunity to advance today. But the challenge remains this: your stories must continue to be told and shared with your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, so that they'll know what Papa and Mama, Gongo and Popo did during World War II to serve the country of their choosing. We know for the majority of our veterans and families who are from southern China, Guangdong, Toisan, this is about your story coming to the United States to have a better life for your families. You served proudly, side by side, with other Americans during a dark period of world history. One of the things I've learned the most from the veterans and sons and daughters who have applied to receive the Congressional Gold Medal is how much pride and joy they see in their communities, knowing that the Congress of the United States has voted to give them this award to their families. Share that pride and joy by telling the stories of service and sacrifice. Thank you for your service, your dedication to duty, your commitment to the cause, and the examples you've given to all of us. May God continue to bless you, bless our country. Congratulations on this day.
I'd like to highlight the significance of the service and the sacrifices of our Chinese American World War II veterans as part of the story arc of Chinese American World War II veterans. The primary basis for the award of the Congressional Gold Medal to the Chinese American World War II veterans was their service in spite of the discriminatory aspects of the 1882 Chinese Exclusion Act, not repealed until December of 1943. Of the 20,000 Chinese American veterans who served, approximately 40% were non-US citizens. They were denied citizenship, had no rights, couldn't vote, no homesteading. Yet they proudly served as Americans. We must forever remember, honor, and preserve the legacy of our Chinese American World War II veterans. They defended the freedom that we so much enjoy today. They demonstrated their skills, competencies, loyalty, and patriotism. They served with pride and proudly served as Americans. They opened up opportunities for all Chinese Americans to be a part of mainstream America post-World War II. Through their hard work and sacrifice, they enabled our follow-on generations to live the American dream. And they continued the legacy of progress of Chinese in America as initially established by Chinese railroad workers. There is much in common between Chinese railroad workers and Chinese American World War II veterans. Both groups were forgotten, ignored, and excluded. Yet both groups are unsung heroes. Finally, on May 10, 2019, at the 150th anniversary of the Transcontinental Railroad, Chinese railroad workers were fully honored and recognized. And this completed the story arc of Chinese railroad workers. Finally, on December 9th, 2020, some 75 years after the end of World War II, at the Speaker of the House ceremony for the award of the Congressional Gold Medal, Chinese American World War II veterans were honored and recognized. And this completed the story arc of Chinese American World War II veterans. In my case, I am a descendant of a Chinese railroad worker who worked the second Transcontinental Railroad, the Southern Pacific Railroad, from California to El Paso, Texas. I am also a descendant of a Chinese American World War II veteran who was a pilot in the China Air Task Force and 14th Air Force in the China-Burma-India theater. I'm honored to pay tribute to our Chinese American World War II veterans. Our current and future generations owe a huge debt to our Chinese American World War II veterans. Let us remember, honor, and preserve their legacy.
I want to congratulate our Chinese American World War II veterans on your award of the Congressional Gold Medal. This medal depicts that Chinese American World War II veterans served in every service, fought in all campaigns, and fought on land, sea, and air. Many of you were not American citizens, but you all served proudly as Americans. This recognition is such a rare honor because you are remarkable American patriots, because it is so well deserved, and because it finally sets things right. Stand tall, Chinese American World War II veterans. You have joined the ranks of other distinguished recipients of the highest award that Congress can bestow on behalf of the American people. You are now in the same company as George Washington, Ulysses Grant, Douglas MacArthur, Dwight Eisenhower, as well as other special units like the Navajo Code Talkers, the Tuskegee Airmen, the Nisei and Filipino soldiers, all distinguished recipients of the Congressional Gold Medal. I have been involved with previous Congressional Gold Medal awards, and many worked hard to pass the law that awarded the Congressional Gold Medal to Chinese American veterans of World War II. From my view, the Chinese American Citizens Alliance made this award and recognition possible. My special thanks go to past National President Ed Gore for starting the recognition effort and guiding all the steps necessary until passage. Congratulations to all recipients of the Congressional Gold Medal.
My name is Stephen Tom. I am a retired Army Major General. You've heard previously from some of my colleagues about the Congressional Gold Medal for Chinese American veterans of World War II and how it is a most prestigious medal and how hard it was to get it passed through Congress. But what I wanted to spend a few minutes with you now is to talk about the medal itself. Well, here it is, the Congressional Gold Medal for Chinese American Veterans of World War II. It is 3 inches in diameter, 1/4 of an inch thick, and it weighs 6 ounces. To give you an idea of its size and weight, let's compare it to another coin that you may be familiar with, the Eisenhower silver dollar. The Congressional Gold Medal for Chinese American Veterans of World War II is twice the diameter of the silver dollar, and it weighs 6 times the weight of that silver dollar. So be careful when you handle it. It's a heavy and big medal, and don't let it fall on your foot. Now, the Congressional Gold Medal is not a cookie cutter medal. The Congressional Gold Medal for Chinese American Veterans of World War II is not the same as the one that was designed to honor George Washington or the Tuskegee Airmen or even Dwight Eisenhower. Each of these medals are unique. They are different and they are custom designed. I was privileged to be selected as part of the design committee for this Congressional Gold Medal for Chinese American Veterans. And in 2019, we spent 7 months with various artists and sculptors designing this medal. And I wanted to tell you what we came up with. On the front of the medal are 7 Chinese American figures, 6 men and 1 woman. They are all in World War II service uniforms. And the woman is in the Army Nurse Corps uniform. What we were trying to depict with these uniforms is that Chinese American veterans of World War II served in every branch of the service. The Army Air Forces, the Marines, the Navy, the Coast Guard, and Merchant Marine. On the reverse of the coin, we wanted to show that Chinese American veterans of World War II were deployed worldwide in the Pacific and Asia and in Europe and in North Africa. And we wanted to show that they fought and served everywhere, on land, on sea, and in the air. So to depict that they served on land, sea, and air, we decided to select certain military equipment that they used and place it on the reverse side of the medal. For land, we selected the Sherman Tank. The Sherman Tank was introduced in World War II, and it was used extensively in the Pacific and Asia and in Europe and North Africa. For air, we selected the P40 Warhawk Air Airplane. This is a fighter aircraft that was used by the famous Flying Tigers of the 14th Air Force, flying out of Kunming, China, against the Japanese. And this P40 for the Flying Tigers had one of the most iconic emblems of World War II. I'm talking about the famous shark's mouth and the shark's teeth that were on the nose of the P40 aircraft. So give a look at it when you get the medal. In addition, you might have some questions about the medal itself. It's called the Congressional Gold Medal, but is it made out of gold? Well, the answer is yes and no. There is one, count it, one medal that is cast in gold, and it is minted for the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. It is entrusted up to them so that they can prepare a display for it to be displayed to the public in the future. So in the future, you can go to Washington, D.C. and see the gold Congressional Gold Medal, probably in the American History Museum. But for everyone else that is going to get this medal, and all the veterans that will be getting it, your medal will be made out of bronze. So what else can I tell you about the medal? Well, some might ask, where is it made? Is it made in the Kim's engraving shop in Seoul, Korea, or Chang's coin shop in Shanghai, China? No, it is not. The Congressional Gold Medal for Chinese American veterans of World War II is made right here in the USA. It is made by the United States Mint, the same people that bring you your quarters, your dimes, and your nickels. So in closing, let me say, I hope the past few minutes have given you a better understanding of the Congressional Gold Medal for Chinese American veterans of World War II, and I hope a better appreciation for it. Congratulations to the Chinese American veterans of World War II.